Hello, in today's video we'll be taking a session recap look at the Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 trading session for the CBOE SPX index. Today was another very volatile session, much like yesterday's session, not quite as volatile as yesterday's session, but in some ways sort of a mirror of yesterday's session in that we got a push up at the initial part of this session, and in fact we did get a two-level move up from the BBKPL level to start off the session just like we did yesterday, and then we got a sharp reversal, not quite as sharp as yesterday's drop, but a pretty significant volatile drop nonetheless. So starting off here, we do have our day trading GPS daily key levels V 3.0 indicator, and we also have our day trading GPS ribbon indicator that has an option for US indexes in which you can reset the ribbon at 9:30 a.m. and that's very important in most sessions for SPX and also other indexes like NASDAQ NDX, Dow Jones, Russell 2000, also for the mini SPX index, the SSP, etc. As a lot of times EMA ribbons can get quite aberrated on significant gap up or gap down. So this particular day trading GPS ribbon indicator gives you the ability to see the ribbon with the filter on, with the ribbon reset filter on, as well as with it off. So if you have a multi-monitor setup, you can look at it both ways and use it for dual confirmation, or you can just go with single confirmation using the ribbon without the filter on or turning it on as we do here. I typically keep it on, although I do have a separate monitor that it also has it off. I have a 6 monitor setup, so not everyone has multiple monitors. So if you're working off a single monitor, you can set up a dual screen on your single monitor if you prefer to have the dual screen setup where you can have the ribbon on and ribbon off. So as you can see here, we do have the ribbon reset on, which is why you see here from yesterday's close here, then we have this here, and we have the ribbon being reset. If we go ahead and turn the ribbon reset filter off, then you get a little bit different look here starting off. So the filter can be very useful, especially if you can have a dual setup so you can see it in both fashions. My preference is I prefer most of the time to go with the reset because most of the time SPX is having a pretty significant gap up or gap down compared to the previous day's close. That's just one of the things about trading SPX as far as using anything that's a moving average ribbon. Okay, so like I said, here we have basically no trade here, even though this particular candle was red to start off with. It did actually close above today's bull bear key price level. However, there is no bullish trade off of this because we're not getting a confirmation from the ribbon. Now, if you also had the filter off, then this is what you've been seeing here, and you can see here we had kind of a red ribbon. The ribbon is really just kind of a base ribbon here. It's not really extending like here. So we're really just getting sort of a sideways red ribbon here. We turn the filter on, then you're going to get a different look here. And as you can see here, after the couple of candles goes by, we do get a push up, and we're getting the separation on the upper green bands of the ribbon from the ribbon base. So you have a trade entry here on this particular candle for a bullish trade entry based off the bull bear key price level. You have QL below for your tight stop loss or a midpoint below for your standard stop loss. That's on this candle here. So neither one of those stop losses is hit. Those stop losses again are here. It's your choice, tight or standard. Going to push right up to YDC. Remember, this indicator does have YDC, YDL, YDH, PMH, pre-market high and pre-market low. All the Y levels are yesterday's daily close, daily high, and daily low. Now our daily high was all the way up here. So we get a push up to the R2 level. That's our ideal minimum 2-level threshold, as we've discussed in previous SPX session videos. This candle here hitting the mid R1, R2, that's our minimum 1.5 level move threshold. So using the daily key level strategy on a regular day trade, you have a choice of either the 1.5 level move threshold or the 2-level move threshold. Of course, those thresholds are calculated from the level, the main key level that the trade is actually based on. So it's based on the bull bear key price level. Mid R1, R2 is 1.5 levels above, and R2 is the 2 level above. Generally, in most regular sessions in regular volatility in a normal year, you're going to get a 2-level extension away from the bull bear key price level on the upside and downside in sessions. As we saw in yesterday's session, we got to move all the way down to S6. So in 20% of the sessions in a normal year, you're going to see the majority of those remaining 20% sessions in a normal year for SPX. They're going to be comprised of lower volatility sessions that will be generally contained within R1 down to S1. So those will be lower volatility, mean reverting sessions, and then the lesser part of that remaining 20% are going to be sessions like you saw yesterday, in which we get extensions beyond either R3 or S3 to the downside all the way to S6 on the downside or R6 on the upside. But those are kind of few and far between. You can get periods where they are going to be more regular, like we saw with the pandemic or with the market meltdown that we had during the Bush era, when we had, and then also the Lehman Brothers market meltdown, if any of you remember that. So then also the real estate crisis. So every now and then you'll have something like that pop up. Of course, with the war going on, you never know when things are going to pick up volatility wise. And of course, we're going into an election year later this year. So in September, October, generally you get a lot more volatility as well. So with early November being the election and then having the war going on, it looks like we may be having uh, we could be having extended periods of volatility, especially later on in the year. But you got to take each session as it comes and take the market as it comes. So we're basically reacting to price. We're not predicting it. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. As day traders, we need to react. We're not predicting. We're not in the business of predicting. We're in the business of reacting and taking advantage of what price action is doing on an intra-session basis. Okay, so we're starting to get the reversal like yesterday here. As you can see here, now the ribbon is changing. We have the crossover of the two major yellow lines within the EMA ribbon. And now we are getting the lower bands separating from the base here. So here on this candle here, that is a trade either off, basing it off the PMH, the pre-market high level, or the R1 level. If you're going to base it on the R1 level, then you have your QL above for tight stop loss, or your midpoint above for your standard stop loss. That would be on this candle here. Calculating the 1.5 level move from R1, that is the mid BBKPL S1 level, and the S1 level below that is going to be your 2-level move from R1. So we got entry here, hits the 1.5 level move here, hits the 2-level move here. Getting some follow through with the ribbon. As you can see, it is popping back up. it attempts to go and start closing above the uh, upper band of the ribbon here. It does later on here, but generally speaking, we're continuing to get a move down. We only get this brief blip here where it goes above and then it resumes the sell-off. If you missed this particular entry here, you had another entry here on the close below the bull bear KPL. So if you were outside getting a cup of coffee after cashing out on this trade and you missed this particular trade here, then you had another opportunity here as we're still getting separation from the ribbon and a close below the bull bear key price level. On this particular trade here, bearish trade off the bull bear KPL, then you have the QL above the BBKPL for the tight stop loss, or the mid BBKPL R1, that's the first midpoint above for your standard stop loss. And on that trade, you have the 1.5 level move down to mid mid S1 S2. We'll go ahead and just turn that on real quick so you can see that. So that's going to be here. As you can see, it did get a retrace back up, going back up to the bull bear key price level. Basically tried to make an attempt here, never hit the tight stop loss, and then fell back down, hits the 1.5 level move, retries again, and eventually hits the S2, comes close to the mid S2, S3. However, here was the full 2-level move from the bull bear key price level. So we've got an interesting session tomorrow. We've got the SpaceX IPO, which is planned for tomorrow. So a lot of people looking forward to that, seeing how the market is going to digest that with a $1.5 trillion IPO coming out. So that's something that's never really been done before. There's been a lot of rules changed recently, amended, and happened to be coincidental with this particular IPO. So some of the volatility this week could be people, institutions raising money for that particular play, and some of it has to do with all the different things going on with the war. So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and in the meantime, if you have any questions regarding our indicators, you can send us an email at daytradinggps@gmail.com. If you are interested in purchasing the SPX Daily Key Levels indicator, you can send us an email at daytradinggps@gmail.com to request a discount promo code. We also have an SPX indicator suite, which includes both the ribbon indicator with the optional filter and also our special VWAP for TradingView. Showing our VWAP here, this is also included in the SPX indicator suite. So whether you want to buy the SPX Daily Key Levels indicator by itself, or you want to buy the SPX suite that includes both the ribbon indicator and the SPX VWAP. The reason that we have the VWAP for SPX on TradingView is that some of you who may have not traded SPX CBOE or the mini SPX XSP on TradingView before. There is an issue with the SPX CBOE data feed, and that's also for the CBOE data feed for the mini SPX index on CBOE. So if you have your chart on the SPX CBOE symbol or the XSP, there is no volume data included with that particular data stream from CBOE. So it's not a TradingView issue, it's a data stream issue, not really something that's a temporary technical glitch or anything. It's been this way, for years. They just, the data feed from CBOE on the global indices feed does not include volume data. So if you go into TradingView and you want to go down and do, say, native VWAPs, say, for example, volume weighted average price, or we could also try the VWAP auto anchored, then generally you're going to see, I'll go ahead and turn our VWAP off or hide it. And you see now there's no VWAP, even though we just loaded TradingView's native VWAP and also the auto anchored VWAP. Then we have this red exclamation point here. Sometimes it will also show up on this one. Nevertheless, there is no VWAP because there is no volume data. However, our particular VWAP solves this problem. So now you don't have to use a separate chart, like having VWAP on SPY or something. You can just simply have the VWAP on your singular SPX chart or your SSP chart now because we have our VWAP that solves this issue. So here is the bright blue VWAP line. Then we also have the bands. You can use it with or without the bands. So you go in, you can have a different anchor period. Typically just use it on the session. We have the VWAP color to blue because that way it creates a difference between that and the moving average, thick moving average lines of the ribbon. So it creates a nice contrast with that. And this also can be very helpful throughout the session. Just really depends on how much you want to have on your chart. You can turn these bands on if you prefer not to have the bands and you just want to see the VWAP line by itself. But in any event, the point which we're trying to make here is that that is included in the SPX indicator suite. So we have the SPX Daily Key Levels V3.0 indicator by itself. Then we have the suite that includes the ribbon indicator and the VWAP for SPX. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We appreciate you taking your time to watch today's video and supporting our channel. If you are interested in learning more about how the daily key levels trading strategy works for SPX, including how to pick your option strikes on your entries, our early session lotto option strategy, which is an alternative strategy for the early part of the session that's in addition to our standard daily key levels trading strategy, then please look in the description of this video and you'll see links to other videos that are a lot longer that go into more details about the trading strategy, the entries, the entry signal and confirmation, and also other aspects of managing your trades throughout the session. So again, thank you for taking your time today to watch this video. If you did find the video useful, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, as that helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like to be notified when we post additional videos on any trading topic on the channel, please hit the subscribe button and then you'll be notified when we post videos on any new trading topic. Thank you again for taking your time today to watch the video, and we wish you much prosperity in all your future trading. Thank you.